Hello everybody, it's TheSofaSoldier from Four Gamers vs the World. Just wanted to give you guys an update on the Division really, and just my overview of the latest game, update, patch, whatever you want to call it, version 1.1, which included the first Incursion update. Lots of new features, mechanics, items, that sort of stuff have made it into the game, so I thought I'd give my overview and put some footage up, see what you guys think, give you my impressions really. Falcon Lost is the name of the new Incursion mission. Very high difficulty. It's essentially, in terms of the story, a rescue operation to ascertain the fate of a JTF recon team that have been following the LMB troops, the PMC guys from the story, spying on their underground activities. And they've kind of gone dark, so you're sent in to rescue them. There's bonuses to it. It is quite fun from a teamwork perspective. It's a very high difficulty mission. It's harder than a challenge mode, I think it is. It's harder than a challenge mode mission. Really demands teamwork and communication. You have to have a good team. Everybody has to be in a party. Everyone has to use mics. New enemies. There's like helicopter drone things that shoot shock charges at you and can like freeze you on the spot, electrocuting you, and you can just get gunned down instantly. So you really have to communicate and shoot them out of the sky as soon as they appear. Also, the APC that you fight at the end has like an airburst mortar, which constantly keeps you on your toes and moving, and you've really, like I said, it really emphasises communication and teamwork, which is great. However, this new mission, it's pretty short. If you took away the fact that the enemies are all really tough to kill and take down, the actual length of the mission is very short. There's not very many environments in it. There's only one or two new environments. It's mostly one play space that you're in, so it's quite limited on scope really. The level design isn't really super inspired. It's just another underground power plant, and you kind of wonder how the fuck they got a massive like armoured personnel carrier down into like a water treatment plant in the sewers of New York. Like, how did they just drive it down there? Are there tunnels we don't know about? It's really weird. The thing probably weighs like 40-50 tons. It's fucking massive. Like, how the hell did it get down there? And why did no one notice earlier? But I suppose it's not really story content. It's just a little bit of extra mission content to kind of add to the universe or whatever. So you're not really supposed to question it. In terms of the new mechanics and what they're adding in, they've added in gear score. And gear score is essentially like your light level in Destiny. It equates to the quality of the items that you are using and the perks that they have as well. Gear score can be buffed through recalibration, like re-rolling the stats on a piece of gear until it's better, or adding mods to it to raise its gear score. However, each item will have a cap that you won't be able to go beyond. I believe that most weapons and gear that's at high end level, the gold items, start at 163 and go up to about 220, I believe, once you've modified them. However, it is really just a number. I've found lower stat weapons or gear with better perks can still outperform higher level gear in different situations and playstyles. However, I think this just kind of adds to the game in that it enforces the fact that there's a huge amount of variety to be had in your playstyle. You don't just have to use this item, that item and whatever, which was the case for so long with a game like Destiny, where if you didn't use X items or you didn't wear X gear, you weren't going to be the best Warlock, you weren't going to be the best Titan, you weren't going to have this advantage in terms of damage or defense or whatever. It's not like that now. There's so many different ways to modify your items and gear depending on what you're doing, depending whether you're playing PvP in the Dark Zone or whether you're doing like a survivability skill power build for PvE and doing missions. There's reasons to hang on to older stuff. You won't just want to chuck it all in the bin. You'll want to have a good look through and find stuff that's worth keeping, that has great perks, and there's still value for it. So don't feel bad. Don't feel like, oh, the expansions come out, I've got to chuck everything away. Like in a lot of MMOs, it's not going to happen. You're still going to hang on to quite a few things because of the perks. gear sets are the new main thing. Essentially, they're a different grade of gear to what we've had before. Gold high-end gear is still very prevalent. It's still a huge part of the meta game, and it's still extremely important. And they have added 3 new gold weapons. I believe there's the Warlord Assault Rifle, the Valkyria SMG, Marksman Rifle called the Historian, which isn't actually out yet, it's coming out in the next update, but it's part of this set that they've added. Okay, so what do gear sets really do? Well, there's 4 different types of gear sets that all complement a certain different playstyle, and depending on how many pieces of a gear set that you have, it unlocks different passive perks that are unique to that gear set. So I'm just going to go over the 4 different types of gear sets so you know what kind of best suits your playstyle and whether you want to mix and match, really. There's Striker, and Striker focuses on raw firepower and critical hit damage. It's about overwhelming the enemy and shredding them to pieces with just raw power, boosting your critical hit damage, being able to completely melt enemies. Depending on how many pieces of gear you have a boost to your enemy armor damage from 2 pieces of gear. 3 pieces of gear gives you an extra 50% critical hit damage. 4 pieces unlocks the ultimate skill, which we'll talk about in a bit. Nomad is the second one, the Path of the Nomad. This is a gear set that focuses on survivability and looting, essentially. It gives you a big buff to your scavenging, which enables you to find better items more frequently, and has extra healing properties, as well as a very interesting ultimate skill that essentially brings you back from the dead when you get downed. It's very good if you're playing solo in the dark zone, that kind of thing, but I see it as being kind of a niche gear set. Not many people will use, it's very situational. Tactician, now this is for the person who really enjoys playing a support character. It's all about skill power and teamwork. It decreases the cooldowns for you and your entire team and boosts your collective ability power so that you'll always have skills active and everybody's skills will be much more potent. And if you keep doing damage while skills are active, it buffs them even more to a point where it's like plus 150% or something like that. And you can really turn the team around in terms of not just survivability but damage. It's just a great all-round support gear set. The 4th and final one is Sentry. Now anybody who loves to snipe on this game is going to absolutely love this. This is all about sniping and scouting. If you headshot targets, you mark them for your team, which weakens them to friendly fire. Also gives you a buff depending on how many pieces of gear you have for this gear set for your headshot and critical hit damage. So you'll do absolutely massive damage to singular targets if you're very accurate. If you really want to make the most of a very good sniper rifle that you've got, it's certainly a gear set that's worth looking into. Yeah, like I said, each gear set has a master perk for equipping like 4 matching pieces that grants a unique skill. Like I said, the Nomad one has the one that basically brings you back from the dead when you receive fatal damage if you're wearing 4 pieces of that. There's also one for the Tactician, which basically means that for like every 80,000 damage that your team deals, you get loads and loads of skill power back, and it buffs your regeneration for your skills and the potency of them by a huge amount. So there's lots of different ones, and they all cater to a different playstyle. And because there's 6 actual gear slots, you can actually mix and match 2 different types of gear. So for example, for my build, I'm actually going for like 4 pieces of Striker for raw firepower, critical hit damage, being able to destroy enemies in the quickest time possible. But I'm also having 2 pieces of the Tactician on there, so I get much faster cooldowns, and it enables me to play a little bit of support as well as offense, which is actually really useful for teamwork. And I'm just going to switch it out depending on the mission I'm doing or what I'm doing, be it PvE or PvP in the Dark Zone. Trading has finally come to the Division as well. Now this was something that I was kind of concerned about, mainly because I thought it could kind of turn into a big shitty mess like it was with Borderlands, where despite the fact that the game was excellent, people could duplicate weapons and could literally just log into other people's games and dump hundreds and hundreds of rare and legendary weapons for people, so many that they'd never have to go out and look for them and loot them themselves, and kind of it took away the fun of the game, the thrill of the chase, of being able to get that piece of gear yourself and remember it in time. Thankfully that hasn't happened. There's a strict set of rules which is actually quite, I think it's quite sensible the way they've done it, and it's quite fair. You can only trade recently acquired weapons and gear that you got in the same play session as the people that you're going to trade with. They have to be in your squad at the time when you got the gear, and also they have to be in your squad when you give it to them, so they can't leave and then come back and you can give it to them again. You can't duplicate weapons that way or anything like that. Yeah, it's something like a 2-hour time window that you have to trade weapons. If you want to, you can just drop them on the ground and people can pick them up. It's a useful mechanic, and I'm glad they've put it in there, and it balances it quite well. So if you're in the dark zone and you extract something that isn't to your liking, say it's a really good sniper rifle but you like an SMG or something for close range combat, you can give it to your friend who's going down like the sentry gear route and everything for like big sniper damage and scout abilities. There's also assignments that they've added to the game. Assignments are essentially daily and weekly objectives similar to bounties in Destiny. You gather valuable resources by doing it, like hitting a certain target, killing a certain amount of veteran enemies will give you a piece of rare division tech which you use to craft Dark Zone blueprints. They're based in 3 different categories. There's crafting based, where you have to like break down a certain amount of X to get X amount of resources back. There's combat ones where, like I said, you have to kill enemies to gain resources, and there's Dark Zone ones as well, where you have to accomplish certain goals within a Dark Zone session to unlock a certain amount of Phoenix credits that are then given to you. And you can do these every day as well. It's a really good way of varying up the ways to get Phoenix credits and go towards setting a goal for crafting high-end blueprints and gear that doesn't just involve grinding 1 mission or 2 missions over and over to get said requirements. You can do it in multiple different ways now, which is actually quite nice. They've also added spectator mode, which seems quite simple. A lot of these games do kind of have it, but it's very useful in a game that's this teamwork oriented. It's definitely a bonus. It just allows you to watch your teammates' perspective whilst you're dead or waiting to be revived during a mission. You can offer advice, give call outs, say they're being flanked by enemies, watch above, there's a drone who's about to shoot you, that sort of stuff. It's really, really useful in the Incursions. I'm surprised they didn't add it earlier, but literally if they didn't have it for Incursions it would be absolutely bloody awful, because of how much of a pain in the ass the AI is in that game, or in that mission, sorry. In that mission the AI is absolutely mental and completely relentless. Dark Zone supply drops are also happening now. These are like the supply drop crates that you used to have, I think you still have them actually in GTA, where you'll get a bunch of uncontaminated loot. So by uncontaminated I mean you don't have to extract it after you've got it. Once you pick it up and you secure the crate, it's straight in your inventory. If somebody shoots you and kills you and goes rogue, they won't be able to get what you just got, so it's safe. Which is cool, because then it means it's like a race against time to get to it. And there's also a chance that they will drop a gear set piece from the new update with all of the rare gear pieces. You can get them from these supply drops. I think I've had 2 of them so far from supply drops. The rest I've got from either missions or creating blueprints and crafting. It creates this really cool, like I said, a race against time, and a really excellent PvP dynamic that they've put in there, because not only does it incentivize people to all rush to one area of the map, and then you've got the kind of the fear in the back of your mind that, is this guy going to kill me as soon as I try and go for it, but you've also got to deal with a boss that's there. it always spawns like a high level boss and AI around him. So you have to run as fast as you can there, destroy the boss and all the AI, and claim the crate before somebody else catches up with you. But by the same token, it's also really cool to actually see if another player is, or their group is trying to go after it, and once they engage the enemies and they're getting shot at, you can ambush them from behind and wipe out the entire enemy squad, go rogue, kill the rest of the AI and claim the crate that they were trying to go for, as well as all the gear that they dropped. So it's not just a bunch of people trying to avoid each other and going around farming bosses in the dark zone anymore. There's an actual incentive for people to get and work together from different squads, or just go rogue and try and steal as much of each other's stuff as possible. And it's not nearly as punishing as it was before because of the previous update. So it's a really good way to kick some life into the PvP servers and give us something different. I've really enjoyed it so far. In terms of the minor changes, the named bosses, they always drop high-end items now, gold items. Same thing with the Dark Zone key chests. Named bosses also consistently drop Phoenix credits now, so there's another way to get them other than farming missions and doing daily challenges and doing all your daily objectives. You actually earn more Phoenix credits from going into the Dark Zone and doing bosses, finding chests, all of that stuff. Chests and bosses now also give out high-end division tech as well, which is important for crafting Dark Zone blueprints. Re-rolling gear in the base of operations now just costs normal credits, not Phoenix credits for your high-end stuff, which is great because if you're anything like me, you were sitting on hundreds of thousands, possibly millions of credits with nothing to really spend it on because all you were spending were Phoenix credits. And now there's a legit reason to use it for re-rolling your gear to get the best possible perks, and stuff's a lot more expensive as well. So there's a reason to actually sell stuff rather than just break it down all the time. Blueprints in the Dark Zone vendors as well for the best gear items cost Dark Zone credits now, not Phoenix credits, which they should have all along, but they finally got around to doing it. And there's a bunch of bug fixes which I won't go into. There's still, don't get me wrong, there's still a lot of bugs, but they've rectified quite a few bad ones. Overall, it's a decent update. There's still a lot of exploits and annoying bugs here and there, as well as pretty much a non-existent anti-cheat software system on the PC. I mean, I've been watching videos of the PC version and I played the PC beta, and there are people literally with hacks where they can shoot and down you through walls, they can teleport to you across the map if you're rogue and just like gun you down, claim a bounty and then teleport away before anyone can do damage to them. People making themselves invincible. So hopefully something will be done about that soon for a lot of the PC players. In terms of the actual story content that we got, it's pretty underwhelming. It's not really a decent story piece. It doesn't further the fiction. I think those are going to come in the actual paid DLC, not like a free update like this. That's probably going to come with the actual expansions that are part of the season pass, but remains to be seen. However, on the plus side, you know, there's some really new interesting gameplay dynamics and a much more competitive Dark Zone that makes PvE and PvP a lot more rewarding. Anyway, overall, thumbs up from me. Lots of changes are needed, but overall a lot of good changes have also been made. So I'll look forward to playing some more. Don't forget to hit me up on PSN to play some Division with me. I'm Shaolin_style88. I'll add that in the links in the description, as well as my Steam ID and my Xbox Live Gamer tag. This has been a 4Gamers vs the World production. Just a little bit of a news update. Take it easy, people. I'm the Sofa Soldier. Peace out.